York exists. There are subways in New York.
Yeah. Prove it.
Come on, Raw. Reading.
I remember back in the day, G-Man and that whole crew, they hated those retorts. Like they would fucking lose it. It was the best thing to watch. Are you comparing my God to a comic book character?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah.
Yes.
I am.
Well, it's okay for Raw to think that he has that for himself, right?
Hebrew chapter 3, verse 20. Thou
That's
shalt
fine, Raw.
believe,
That's it.
smoke
You
weed
keep
in the
your
weed.
hell, just
God.
don't impose your hell on me or anyone else. That's all.
Particularly children. Leave the kids alone, man. They're gonna traumatize them and scare the fuck out of them. They're gonna grow up to be weirdo adults afraid of.
Yeah, but you see, they do just the opposite.
It's really
They
odd
do
to me
just
that that's
the
not
opposite.
considered child abuse. Honestly, telling your kids that there's like a guy in the sky that will punish you if you don't go to church or ask too many questions. It's like apparently that's not child abuse, but
God knows when you masturbate.
Did you guys ever see that Jesus Camp documentary?
Yeah, I've seen it.
That was fucked up, dude. Like that
Jesus
made me
Camp
look and go,
documentary, yeah,
what?
that was like, yeah.
But God can't see anal sex, so you're all right.
Fuck me in the ass because I love Jesus.
And God doesn't know when you're soaking, so that counts too.
Does God know when you're gooning?
I don't know what's gooning.
Oh,
well, no, I think
I'm
Santa
afraid
Claus is
to
more
ask.
powerful than God.
I'd say no.
Santa Claus knows when
Do you want to know something funny though? You want to know how soakers cheat that system? So they do the soaking, and then what they'll do is, and it's usually the girl that gets a friend, and they'll get a friend to jump up and down on the bed, so they can get the motion of friction without doing it themselves, and that's how. It's just so funny. I just love that. Yeah.
So to answer your question on what gooning is, it's just a hardcore version of edging.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's just somehow inadvertently had sex, right?
I love that. I think it's the greatest cheat method in the world. It's like fucking, first of all, you've already put your shit inside, so you've done the deed.
Raw. Check who wrote it, Raw. Who wrote it?
Don't blame him. He didn't write it.
Who wrote it, Raw?
John certainly didn't write it.
Exactly. John didn't write it.
Clearly, John wrote it.
He wants us to read all of John chapter 3.
God.
Yeah.
Apparently, yes.
Dude, what the hell? That's not evidence.
Let me go to work.
Not evidence for hell.
That's an explanation, dude.
You guys want to know what my hell is?
What's
Being
that?
in this stream with the albino.
My hell is listening to Jill read literally anything.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Damn. Shots
Did
fired.
anyone see the latest Mr. Deity?
I don't know what that is.
Who the fuck is that?
You never heard of Mr. Deity? It used to be more popular than back in the day. All right, maybe I'll play it, but I really just want to play the clips that he was sharing. And this is William Lane Craig. This is not. Yeah, this is Mr. Deity. You ever see this guy? No. Okay, you gotta go subscribe. There's some pretty good stuff.
Didn't he do that?
What's his content though?
Anti-Christian.
Yeah, anti-Christians. And he does it with
He's styling.
and then he'll say stuff and then post, text on the side.
Right.
Okay, got it.
It's so gross.
I suppose if I'm being asked to accept wholesale biblical morality, I suppose I would look at something like this and, as Lincoln said of slavery, think, if this is not wrong, then nothing is wrong. I mean, maybe I can't make a moral claim. Maybe I can't say that there is such thing as morality and immorality in the universe, but something inside of me tells me that if there is such thing as ethics, it can't look like this. In other words, you're asking me, in order to accept the justification for the actions in this story, to deny one of the most forceful moral intuitions, the exact kind of moral intuition which you might ask me to rely upon in other contexts to establish God's existence at all.
Sounds like you.
Yes, and as I say, I affirm.
And he's talking about I think he's talking about either the flood or the killing of the Canaanites.
Yeah, but the flood stuff, we know that kind of happened though. Now, like there's enough evidence that some shit like that went down. You know what I'm saying?
And did an eternal mind cause the flood?
That's a different question.
Did that flood wipe out all the population but 8 people?
That's another question.
Okay.
I just wanted to
No, that
give
was
credit
cool.
where credit's due. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no, that's true. That's true. No, that's
Hey, y'all remember when some hippie was in the desert and he walked up to like 2 people, grabbed a piece of bread and some fish, and fed thousands of them?
That's wild.
But I want to hear, you got to hear William Lane Craig. This is the Christian philosopher. Weasel out of this one.
Affirm that moral intuition. If these actions had been undertaken in the absence of a divine command, it would be objectively wrong. But the point would be is that on a divine command theory of ethics, God is free to issue a command that goes against that, so long as it is consistent with his just and loving nature.
Do go on.
Jesus Christ.
This is what it's just a lovely name.
Yeah, it's okay for a husband and father to torture his family and do all these horrible things, as long as it's consistent with his loving nature.
Because he loves you.
Yeah.
He loves you and he needs money.
That is such Stockholm syndrome. Holy shit.
He always needs money.
No. That's people who need money, not God.
No, that's a George Carlin bit, though.
Oh. Yeah, true.
Bill, please tell us more about how slaughtering babies, toddlers, children, women, men, sheep, goats, shekel could be consistent with anyone's loving nature. You will not find another
This is what he does.
I love this
Just
guy.
throws up a Pat Benatar quote. That's great. That was funny.
institution on this planet outside religion where murder and a loving nature are not diametrically opposed.
Oh, interruption. William's live with Vetco right now.
Get out!
Yeah, I just saw it.
God damn it. What the
Man, now I'm fucking torn here now.
Are they debating? Is that what's happening?
I want to be. I want
Yeah.
permission to restream.
Restream it.
I want permission to restream.
Yeah, the title is just says, "Is it okay for Christians to pray with non-believers?"
Oh.
Oh.
Do you have the link?
Hey, if you want, you could copyright strike him and get in some trouble.
Copyright there.
Why wouldn't believers want to pray with unbelievers?
Hello?
Isn't that the whole
Because you're
idea?
supposed to.
Would you have to bring people to Jesus by praying with the unbelievers?
Not if you're a Calvinist.
Not if you're a Calvinist. There are some scriptures
Thank
that
you.
say you're not supposed to associate with them.
Yep.
You can
There are scriptures
proselytize,
that
but you can't break bread or pray with them.
Thank you.
Okay, shall we
but
go
that-
over there? Or you gotta watch? What are we doing?
I really wanted to get to this juicy part with William Lane Craig, where he just listen.
We'll play it at like
But
1
in Bill's world, murdering babies can not only be an act of profound morality, but an act consistent with God's
murdering babies.
loving nature.
Where could we find that?
Are you getting a sense of how sick this shit is yet? It literally makes my stomach.
I love this guy.
I know.
He's funny. He is funny. Shit.
Are you getting a sense of how sick this shit is yet? It literally makes my stomach turn.
And so the burden here
Yeah, it's a nice. Yeah, the burden is.
would be to show that in issuing this command, God does something that contradicts his perfectly just and loving nature. And my argument is that that's very difficult to show because he doesn't wrong anyone, I think, in this. In particular, the difficult case here is the children. And what I would say is, first, that God has the right.
What do you think he's gonna say? What do you think he's gonna say?
The potter can do whatever he wants with the pot.
Okay, and
I think he'll
It's just
children?
relocation.
human beings are gonna
I could
die.
tell he's yeah.
The time
Yeah, everybody's got to die. This is just relocation.
maybe it's not so
No.
bad
Boy.
for God to choose that.
Well,
To take anyone's life whenever he wants to. Unfortunately, children die all the time in infancy. And so if God wants to end the life of these Canaanite children early, prematurely, that's his prerogative. But then secondly, on my theory,
Is that a
My
naturalist
prerogative?
fallacy? Because he's saying, well, God does it all the time. So that means there's nothing bad if he does it en masse.
God does
That's
it.
not what he
Hey,
said. That's
God
not
can do
what
whatever he
said.
wants.
Yeah.
He
Mighty
referenced that the
Why
fact
does
that
God need
children
a
would
fault?
die
This
all
is
the
bad.
time, and
Yeah,
Mhm.
bank robberies
was
happen all the
the
time. So if you just want to
unassisted
rob a bunch of
child
banks, then
blood,
that's
let's
perfectly
say.
moral. Sure.
early, prematurely, that's his prerogative. But then secondly, on my theology, these children go immediately to heaven. They
Exactly.
go to be with God and therefore come to know a life that is more glorious and more happy than anything conceivable, and certainly far better than if they had been allowed to live and be raised in such a corrupt and evil environment as they were in. So it was actually a tremendous blessing to these children for them
What
to be
an
killed and actually go to heaven.
unhinged
Yeah,
perspective
yeah,
that is.
yeah.
That is
I wouldn't.
completely insane.
I wouldn't
It
say.
is insane.
I don't think you have
listening
the right
to
to call it a
this
blessing.
I
guy.
know. This is a very well
Consequence.
respected Christian philosopher, teacher,
Quote
preacher,
unquote.
debater.
Yeah, he's the stupid man's philosopher. That's what he is, right? He appeals to people like Darth and other idiots that muck up philosophy, and
That's a way of putting it.
so that's why
And what
Craig
is
is so appealing.
and what is not said here, right? And I bring it up to Christians, right? Because they say this shit. They say, well, they go to heaven. All children go to heaven. All babies go to heaven. I say, okay, then why are you fighting against abortion?
Exactly.
Right? Why are you fighting against abortion? You want these children to live, and now they have more of a chance of going to your hell if they live.
That's such a dumb argument, bro, Joe.
And being raised in one of these
Dumb
conditions
argument.
that William Lane
No,
Craig is
see,
talking about, they'll be saved
I got a
from, right?
comment on that.
Like
Yeah.
they could end up in some shitty
No.
foster home, or they could end up with some abusive parents that adopt them. They
Yeah.
could end up with one of those YouTube parents that just have them full of gangs full of kids using them to make fucking money. Like they could end up in all of these horrible situations. So yeah, that's a good point there, bro. I never thought
Fine,
about that.
one pill, go to heaven.
Yeah, that's it.
But here's the thing. How does he know that they actually go to heaven and not just
You don't know.
exactly?
And a
So
Calvinist
it's
would
like
say that he made plenty of them for destruction. In fact, the majority. So
well, here's okay, look. Here's the thing. I think the reason why Christians and Jews and all that baptize babies is because of the myth of Lilith. Right? I know she's not canon to the Bible. She was removed as as Adam's first wife.
Yeah.
But there is but there is the myth that that if you don't baptize your kids, your children, Lilith will get them. So
yeah,
I think. Go ahead. You
it's a
probably
sins
know.
preventative. Yeah, sudden infant death. But a lot of them will say it's because of original sin, which is kind of crazy. But
Yeah,
uh,
that's nuts.
yeah, you got to wash away that original sin so they're fresh and clean.
Oy, I don't like
But then
the
we
fact
still
that this-
have the original sin.
Isn't that weird? How that
That
works?
makes no sense. It drives me fucking insane. This is why I could never be a Christian myself.
Yeah.
But I like
can't.
that you Midnight. I like that you brought up Lilith, because like that whole, like, if I was a Christian, because I never believed in God, right? I grew up in a Christian home, but I just always thought it was bullshit. It just never made sense.
Yeah, me too. But go
But
ahead.
anybody who does believe this stuff, if I believed this, I would take a very long pause once I learned that people curated this book and omitted things that would seem either contradictory or that would go against a narrative they're trying to put. I would look at that and be like, wait, hold on. Where are the rest of the books? Like, can we read them? Or do you have them somewhere? Is this like, and the fact that Christians don't do that, they just accept the Bible. It's strange to me. I just never understand that. Like a group of people decided what was going to go in the book. Like they were like, yeah, we're going to put this, we're going to put that.
I honestly don't see an issue with having kept Lilith in as Adam's first wife. You know what I mean?
Because
I
it would
don't know.
destroy the creation myth. That's why they couldn't do it.
Well, I don't see how it destroys the creation myth. Like God created the Garden of Eden. He created Adam, Adam and Lilith. Lilith didn't really want to submit to Adam, so that's why she's like, nope, fuck you. So God is like, you know what? I will make you a woman from your rib who will submit to you. Like
I
that's how the Lilith story goes.
I
Yeah.
heard some Jewish guy. I guess he must have been Jewish mystic or something like that. He says that the serpent was Lilith and was trying to get Eve to get away from Adam because she wanted Adam to.
I've heard that interpretation.
You
Yeah.
know what? You know what? That is wow.
But
First,
if you read,
first
it's
they
like
say,
if we could get our hands on the original story, like from beginning to end, I'm sure it would be read totally differently. Like it wouldn't be the same conversation we would be having.
but that is that is kind of an interesting point that Lilith is actually the snake that tries to fuck with Adam and Eve
Yeah.
just out of revenge. Like
Yeah, because in the story it talks, it had limbs,
Yeah.
but then
Because they said serpent, they didn't say snake or any particular type. Right? It's just, and serpent was a word that was used to describe an archetype. It wasn't used to describe an animal or a type of being. It was an archetype for like a deceiver, a liar, someone who's going to misguide you, kind of thing. That's where we get that. That's why we call snakes, right? Like a person, we call them a snake because it's like we're not saying that they crawl on their belly, but we're saying that they have this archetypal behavior of being dishonest, being unloyal, or disloyal rather, and all of these other things.
yeah. I
not
mean,
dishonest.
honestly, if the
Said
serpent in the
sly, not
garden, if the
dishonest,
serpent in
sly.
the garden, is actually Lilith, that's pretty banger. That just changes the story for me. It's like,
Jewish mystics are interesting people. Like, I don't believe everything they say, but they are fucking fascinating individuals to
yeah.
talk to.
But play this.
play.
I want to see
We
more
think
of this.
so.
Yes, one can only imagine how amazing it would be to spend all of eternity with a being who not only had you murdered, but also had your
Check
parents,
Heavenly Father.
siblings, friends, pets, and beloved animals murdered as well.
At least he's Who are you, man? This is where the fuck have you been in my life? You're hilarious. I'm sorry.
He's funny, man. I can't believe you never heard of him.
No.
No, never heard
Or
of
does
this
God
guy.
just not let anyone know that he was the cause of their butchering? Can you imagine this conversation? Wait, did you have me murdered? Did you have my parents, siblings, pets, everyone murdered? I did, yeah. But
Yes, and you're
no one had to die. You could have all just moved down the road a bit and everything would have been fine.
I wasn't even prepared to wait. I wasn't even prepared
out
to
of-
look
for a-
out
for a-
for a pawn.
How was I supposed to move down the road a bit? I was 6 months old.
You must understand how that sounds, saying it was a blessing for these children to be killed and go to God.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like something a religious fanatic would say. In fact, if that's not the face of a religious fanatic, I don't know what is.
Sweater. Oh, he cooked them. He's cooking, man. Holy shit.
What the fuck?
This is something that Dawkins quotes you on directly, and I'm interested in you share my assessment here that even if he's not correct, I can understand why he would hear you say something like that and think that it's morally repugnant, that it's revolting. In any other context, if somebody says something like, well, maybe the
Look, even he looks like he's smelling shit, William Craig. He's like, this is painful for him. He knows.
Like this guy is like really being polite, being like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? He's not really showing any, like, he's thinking it well. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I guess he's stoic, right? He's listening to.
That's right,
William
exactly.
Lane Craig
Because then
say-
he doesn't give the other person any excuses.
God damn.
murder of these children, I suppose you wouldn't see it as murder, but the killing of these innocent children is a blessing to them. It just seems again to run against our intuitions. I mean, you mentioned in
Well,
the
does it, Alex? I mean, I think it runs against our naturalistic worldview.
Yes, Bill, thinking you can slaughter people left and right, including children, toddlers, babies, animals, etc., and thinking you've done them some kind of serious solid, maybe even an infinite good.
Hold on, go back and pause that for a second.
Hashtag NYPD Blue Talk.
God damn. Oh, now we're getting political here.
He'd run against our naturalistic worldview.
If
Letting
you
that
let
just
the
take over all evil
nationalistic
people to
over-
live.
This is so fucked up. Like, holy shit.
I know that in your worldview, you believe that slaughtering innocent babies can be a good thing, but
Infinite.
boy, I just don't think that's quite the selling point you think it is. I'm sorry, but I'm going to need to end this mess. There's quite a bit more to this interview, but I'm at my limit. What can I say when Christians start talking about the glories of murdering babies? I just have to call it a night. There is one final thing I wanted to mention. I've done an entire video on this, and it comes up later in the interview. But imagine an all-loving, all-powerful God who can make people simply disappear in an instant.
Like
Asking
Thanos.
human,
Like Thanos, but more right wing.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I wouldn't have done it like God did it. That's basically the argument.
to perform the act of slaughtering a baby, perhaps right there in front of its mother.
You're a single toilet.
Imagine the psychological trauma this will forever have on one of God's chosen men. Of course, that is offset by the fact that if he thinks the baby's older sister is crazy hot and she hasn't known a man, he can take her home after slaughtering her family, give her a 30-day grieving period, shave her head and cut her nails, etc., and then go to town on that sweet piece of ass. If you think
What the
And there you go. Mr. Deity, you go. Oh, God, it's a good channel. There go. Let me drop a link again for that video. All right, let's go check in on Will. See how he's doing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
For moral support. Housey's over there doing.
I don't think he
Housey's
needs
over
as a
there being
board.
more
If
supportive
anything,
for me.
Beckel will need the help. If anything.
Yeah.
Is there a live hangout going on with William Freeman in there? Or is it probably Praise I
I
Am?
think
maybe?
Housey is over there already.
I guess.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see.
I don't know, and you just admitted it. You don't know either.
I don't know.
Okay, he went 25 seconds over, so I'll take
Yeah.
that. D trying so hard to justify his filthy rags. Sad,
Doesn't
very
look
sad.
like
No
he's
wonder why you've been
gonna-
in retirement for a while, D. It's the best you got. Sad.
Pull it up real quick.
All of our faces were just captured, and there's like a thumbnail right now on the internet floating around.
Get Brojo back up here.
Pull this up real quick.
Testament before you can pray to Jesus.
No, you just need to know the basics that Jesus is God, that he died on the cross, and that he rose from the grave, and that he's the Son of God.
So
now
unless
there are
you,
other
if you
things
know,
that
wait,
yeah,
wait. If you
he's
think
born
he's
of
the
a
Son
virgin.
of God, if you think
Uh-huh.
he's the Son of, what if you believe all that, but you don't believe in the Trinity? Can you still pray to Jesus?
I see. Now that's a little bit of a different issue. I think that there are some people who are ignorant of the Trinity, but they might have a very, very basic belief in the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ.
Well, we're talking
Uh,
about ignorance. That is the metric that you're using. You're saying that if a person
Yeah. Claim that they worship is the same one that we would identify in Scripture. See,
when
but I won't
pagans
worship
pray,
with them.
when
Yeah, go ahead.
pagans pray, does your God hear them?
I'm sorry, say it again.
When pagans pray, can your God hear them?
Well, obviously. Yeah,
Well,
are you
it's not
now when you say hear, meaning like he'll listen to them and answer their prayers?
I didn't mean answer. I just mean, is it audible? Does he know what's going on? Does he know
Well,
what they're
of course,
praying?
he's omniscient.
Okay, so when they pray and they don't name him because they're not sure of it, he's aware of those facts as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but
But
so
that's
if
that's
the
that's just
prayer,
but wait, hold on. We're not talking about mental assent here. We're talking about worship.
are we?
Obviously, God is
Is prayer
omniscient, so
worship?
he.
That's a good question. Is prayer worship?
Yes, it's a form of worship. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. It's not the only form.
To me, it's just a form of communication. It's not worship.
No,
It's me
no.
talking to whatever is.
Well,
Well, I think
but when we're
I think
talking
Beckle
about
on his
prayer in
side,
the Christian sense here, like with
idea of prayer
supplications, that's
automatically
also a
sets
form of
God
worship.
up as
Because again,
just
remember I brought up the model
high
prayer from Matthew
person,
chapter 6.
So
Is our Father who
it's
art in
kind of
heaven,
a
hallowed
maybe worship
be
isn't the
thy
right word, but it's
name.
a
Right. It's
So
very
recognition
structured.
of the
yeah,
person's
yeah, but
position.
well, again, we don't have to
Very
say
close
those
to worship.
exact words, but when we do say hallowed be thy name, what do we mean when we say that? We're acknowledging not only who we're talking to, but we're also talking about his attributes, his history, the things that he's done. We're giving praise and honor
But I can't do that, Beck.
when we do that.
I
I
don't know
know.
the things that are required to. I don't know those things to be true, so I can't just say those and accuse
Yeah.
the God
That's
of being
because you
those
don't.
things.
I know that's the problem. That's why we're having this discussion, because you pray to a different God.
We don't know that yet. We don't know who I pray to.
Well, you don't pray to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
I don't address it that way. I don't know that that's not who's listening.
Well, you could make an argument from Acts 17.
Okay, but
Paul
William,
talks about the
we're
unknown
not talking
God
about
that
your
that
sincerity.
these peeps are worshiping.
We're talking
And
about
he says,
what
"Let me
you
tell you
know
about
and
this
who you
unknown
think
God
you're
you're
praying
worshiping."
to.
And he goes on to
Okay,
explain
that's
it's
what I'm
the
saying.
God of
Have
Christianity.
you ever heard me give it a name?
No, you didn't give it a name.
Right. Why is that?
It's because you don't know what it is or who it is.
Right. So it's ignorance. We go back to the metric of ignorance. I
Right.
admit
But again,
my ignorance, Veckel.
Okay, no, and that's fine. The problem is though that still doesn't let you off the hook with regards to corporate prayer. Okay, we're not going to let you participate in prayer in a Christian setting when you don't even know who you're praying to.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You
Yes,
can't just come and say, "Hey, I'm a Christian,"
I'm
and
not
then we
smart.
say,
I'm not
"Oh,
knowledgeable enough to pray with you.
well, we don't know if you're praying to a false god
See,
or not."
none of this,
Right.
none
Neither
of
do I.
this
So
excluding
I don't
people
know.
from
I don't
coming
know
in your
who's
church to
listening when I
pray.
pray.
That's what Beckel's doing.
And we don't know
I'm
who you're
not out there.
talking to when you pray.
Right.
You got to
Exactly.
be more.
So why should
so
we?
how
Why
can
should
what
we?
I'm
He's
doing
going to
be
make some
offensive
kind of
in any way?
exclusionary thing. Like I would
Well,
argue
it would
that
be offensive if you
the
try
church back
to
in the first
force
century
yourself
didn't
amongst
include
the
any unbelievers
Christians
in it.
with
So
this type of
that's one
prayer
thing
to
I
something
think
that you don't even know exists.
it'd be
Yeah, I
okay
would do
for a
that.
church
I would
to
wait for
do
them to
that.
finish what they're
We
doing
meet on
talking to
Sunday
what they
and
believe in.
we meet as believers.
I mean, in
we meet
prayers,
and
like
we
for
worship.
example,
We all
maybe I could
are
say
worshiping
in
together.
Praise's
That's what we
room,
meet for.
since it was kind of an
So
open
there's not really a
forum.
Public
platform
square, yeah.
for unbelievers in that setting. Now,
I guess it's
some people that held that kind of
I
position,
guess there's a point where you could
they would offer
probably
that
allow it, I guess.
if you want to reach
But
the lost, that's what
despite our
evangelism is about. We go out of the church
certain
to do that.
differences
We
in
go out on the street
non-essentials,
and preach.
Praise and I, still profess the essentials. We know who the Christ is. We know that there's one God. We know that within the one being called God, that coexists three persons: Father, Son,
And
and
you
Holy
know
Spirit.
you know that because of the book.
We know
These
that
are
because
beliefs.
the
He doesn't
revelation of
know
God,
these
right?
things.
Right.
Right.
So you guys have read the same book and both ascribe to the same explanation of the workings of heaven. So, and that's fine. And I've read the book, but I don't ascribe to it. I'm kind of forced
so you
to
know
remain
nothing
ignorant about it.
Do you know anything about this God that you prayed to that day? What do you know about this God?
The Fibonacci sequence.
What's that?
It's the pattern it's a mathematical pattern that's in just about everything natural, from the shape of the galaxy and the Milky Way to your fingerprint to the shape of your ear and the curves on your face. Anyway, it's a common mathematical equation in just about everything that was created. So
you're
it's
saying
kind of
that's
like
God's
the fingerprint of a
fingerprint? Is that
creator,
God's
in my opinion.
fingerprint,
That's
William?
my
So
subjective
you look into
opinion.
these things. So you look into these things as evidence of a creator.
Well, yeah,
You're not saying that
evidence,
these
not
things.
not proof, evidence though.
Right,
Yes.
right. All right, but you're not praying to these things, right? You're just looking at these as.
Well, I'm assuming that the intelligence that was able to put
I
all
think
this
William
together
is
also has the
addressing
ability
who's
to
behind
understand
that
what
who's behind the
what
pattern
one of
he's
its
recognizing,
creations
even
is
though he doesn't know
communicating,
who it
because
is.
it gave us the ability to communicate, desire to recognize. Communicate with its creations if it
Okay, I
chose
think
to.
we're back. Sorry, I
And
got
Let
it.
me ask you.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, let me ask you something. Do you a few years ago, my wife and I went on a double date with another couple, and they were Jehovah's Witnesses.
You couldn't
Okay,
get
so
out of it?
no, actually, I didn't want to get out of it because I actually really liked them. They were
Oh,
fun to
nice.
be around and stuff, and they knew that we weren't J Dubs, and they knew where I stood.
I'm
But
sorry.
we still
Is that a new thing? J
we
Dubs? Is that
yeah,
what they
J.
call
I got that
themselves
from
now?
Matt Slick.
That's
Yeah,
not
J Dubs. Yeah,
that's nothing
yeah.
new.
He called him J Dubs. Yeah, I stole it from him. But we all knew each other's theological position, but we still managed. We still decided to go out and have a bite to eat together. So when we went to the restaurant, we sat down. Food came, and then the guy he says, "Hey, you want to say prayer? You want to say grace?" And then I hesitated for a minute. I was like, "If you don't mind, I'd rather we just kind of all just bow our heads in silence and silent prayer." And he said, "Why?" I said, "Because we don't have the same beliefs." And he said, "Oh, I can respect that. I can respect that." And so that's what we did. So we didn't leave the table. We didn't go to the bathroom and do a grace in the bathroom while they stayed at the table. We all stayed at the table, but we just had our own little private inner prayer, or saying grace over the food. And then after that, we went back to just talking and chucking and jiving and all that other stuff while we're eating.
Did they
So
get heartburn or anything?
I don't know. Maybe they did on the way home.
Home had a squirt. Be like, man,
I should have
let's
prayed
go
to the
back
real
inside."
Jesus. But let me ask you though, do you think me wrong for doing that thing, doing what I just suggested?
No, I don't think you're wrong for that. I mean, you did basically what I was doing, through a large part of my deconstruction, because especially around my family, I did not want them to hear my doubts or anything. So I kind of was very quiet and just kind of, I did my own thing there.
Right.
Then I realized there's no reason for me to be ashamed, because I'm honestly seeking. And then I don't have anything to be ashamed of for that. I'm waiting on the God to be what he is.
Now, some people might look at the example that I just put out there and might say, well, some people might say that sounds a little superstitious. Some people might say maybe it sounds a little legalistic. That's fine. But the fact of the matter is, it's a Romans 14 issue for me personally. I don't feel comfortable praying with a person of another faith, of another belief. Can I hang out with them?
They're unclean.
Well, yeah, I would call them Gentile, according to the way Paul used it. Gentile.
You don't want to eat. You don't want to eat with the Gentiles if you don't have to.
Well, we can, but
I don't mean eat. I don't mean eat exclusively.
I see what you mean.
Using
Yeah,
it prayer and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Gathering,
Fellowshipping,
water
and
parks with them.
Right.
I'm sorry, I just had this idea that you and your family go to water parks. That's what y'all do.
Right.
You're not gonna tell me. I just got this idea. You go to water parks.
Yeah. Well, Yeah, I was slightly distracted by some of the side chat, so I'll definitely be responding to some of those soon. Um, uh, and maybe we'll open up the room a little bit later after
Oh,
we're
you can do
done
it
here.
anytime you want, man.
Yeah. And I drink a lot of water too, by the way, so I'll be back and
Yeah,
forth away
you
from
put
the
that
mic.
in the email. I thought that was. I appreciate that heads up.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know what, man. I just drink a lot of water today. Even when I was at men's Bible study tonight, I just like we was in the middle of prayer, and I just like I gotta get up. I got up in the middle of us praying, and I had to go. I had to go bad. I couldn't hold it.
Look, if all the other guys are your age, they understand.
So we'll wait for Veco to come back so we can finish praying. As a matter of fact, speaking of which, I gotta go right now. I'll be right back.
Oh my God.
Just gonna leave me here to
Potty
talk
break.
garbage to your audience. That's awesome. He's not even nervous about it. That's cool. Okay, Peter, praying together is not like eating lunch together. It's not. It really isn't. Even though those things tend to happen sometimes at the same time. Okay, Peter. What my point is that it's about tolerance to a certain degree, and it's just sound. I'm not insulting anybody's God by saying I don't.
Even though it's predominantly a Christian, praise is Christian and it's his room.
There's a lot of different flavors of Christianity in that room.
Well, and sometimes we get the occasional atheist in there as well. So it's more open to the public.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's a whole kind of separate discussion there. When she, when people wanted to pray for Wildheart, what do you do in a situation like that when you have a mixture of different beliefs?
Yeah, Wildheart's not even a believer, so all of us were praying about somebody who doesn't believe any of it.
Right. Yeah. So I, maybe I'll say this. I still say dogmatically that you, William, should not be praying with Christians because you don't believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You don't worship Christ. You don't pray to him.
Right.
So you don't hold the same beliefs that we Christians do. However, maybe I could kind of slightly, and I don't know, take back a little bit of my rebuke towards you in praises room, because that at the time that you did that prayer, it wasn't necessarily set up for a Christian worship or fellowship where was just designated just for Christians to be there. You just happened to be there and did what you did, I guess.
Well, we all care about Wildheart, and we
Yeah.
all want him to save his own liver by stop drowning it, right? Just put the bottle down, Wildheart. So we're all with the same sentiment in the room, telling Wildheart and the powers that are, that this needs to change, right? So in that we are of the same accord, and we are praying for the same
Right.
person. We just have our own. Some of those people in the room would be praying to Jesus, thinking that he's not part of a Trinity. Others might be praying that, thinking he is part of a Trinity. Some will think he's black. Some will think he's white. Some will think he's Jewish. It doesn't. At the time, it's about the person you're praying for, which is Wildheart. And if a Buddhist would have come in there and wanted to pray for Wildheart, I wouldn't have had a problem. But you might have had a problem. But to me, as long as it's in accordance, everybody's in the same direction, right?
Yeah. See, and priority, rather, I should say, is, first and foremost, who they're praying to. Because again, the old saying, the road to
Hell is paved with good
the
intentions.
road to is paved with good intentions, right. And we Christians don't want to be a part of that. We want to make sure that our intentions are God-centered, and that we are focusing solely on the one true God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And because again, I mean, we got Isaiah chapter 64, which says our righteousnesses are as filthy rags.
I get it. You've got this thing called certainty, and that gives you this feeling like what you're doing here. You know the process, the ritual, the thing that you need to do, and how you need to address it. I don't have that, so it's very off the cuff when I do it. It's very informal, and it probably does sound really for it. But I don't exclude the possibility of a Christian God or whatever it is when I make that prayer. I don't believe in the Bible, but I could be wrong because I'm not certain of any of it.
If you're not certain of any of it, why do you pray then? Why bother praying at all?
Because I told you that I believe that there is a God or gods based on the Fibonacci sequence, nature, cyclical patterns, people watching humans interact with each other, and how different humans are from all the other creatures in nature. So you believe that there's someone out there or something? Does this something have sentience? I hope so.
See, yeah. That just
all right.
sounds
When
so
you
weird.
say sentience, tell me what you mean.
I'm talking about a being that has self-awareness, that communicates, that emotes, that kind of thing. Rocks are not sentient.
It could be sentient, but I haven't disregarded. Let me explain what I mean by that. So it could be sentient, but I haven't totally disregarded the idea that the deity is dreaming and we are its thoughts. That's potentially one of the things that it could be. I'm not saying I believe that that's the case, but I haven't ruled it out. Because when I dream, the things in my dream feel real to me. They feel the desk that I'm touching in my dream feels solid, but that's my mind. There is no desk. That's my mind. So if a deity dreams, wouldn't it be just as, if not, it would be as real as my dreams. It would be reality as long as that dream continued, right? If I was a part of it, I wouldn't know that I was a part of it.
I can't pretend that I'm going to try to respond to that.
Wrap your mind around that.
Yeah, but my main point is, following the biblical standard with regards to corporate prayer, and obviously you disagree with that, and that's fine. You're well,
no, it's not. It's your standard is your standard. I get it. You have your standard. The other Christians in the room didn't have that standard. But then you came in and reminded them that they should have that standard.
Yeah, because sometimes Christians don't remember this stuff.
All of them said amen at the end of my prayer. And then you came in and reminded them why they should be ashamed of doing it.
Well, actually, I was addressing
all
you
right.
mostly.
Right, but you couldn't make.
We can talk over that. Can I hear you talk? Can you say something loud?
Right. Maybe I should have said something to them.
Can you talk so I can hear you how loud you are?
See, then again, now I'm kind of having.
Can you hear me?
Because again,
you did do it in a
me.
Yeah. Who else do you think I'm talking to?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, me. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure your volume's good.
Okay.
Well, the reason why
Cheers.
I came at you,
Thank
though,
you.
is because you claim to have been a Christian at
Were
one
you
time.
listening to this at all?
And I'm thinking, okay, with this
No, I just woke up.
All right, well, I'm going to turn it down. Have you ever gone into Beckles Hangouts?
Yeah, I've been into Beckles several times. Yeah.
They were just talking about you in this hangout, actually.
Were they? What,
yeah,
what,
the comment
what?
section, and you can read in the comment section. Let me see what they.
Okay.
Had the subject of it was talking about pray. I don't know. It was about praying for you. People praying for you.
Oh yeah, people should pray for me.
Okay, wait. Let me see. Do you mind if I read these?
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I don't know. I'll just start here. Maybe all of this should be directed at, this is Bond. Maybe all of this should be directed at the Christians that all said amen after William prayed. Rojo, how do you know Yahweh is listening? Dan Straight. Wildheart needs our prayers, no doubt. I guess he's the one that brought it up. Or no, it wasn't brought up. I think somebody already mentioned it. Somebody probably said pray for Wildheart or something. And I know I said does House, because Halsey's in here. I says, does Halsey pray for Wildheart? I wanted to, because she's not a Christian, right?
No, she's not. No, she's not. She's an atheist, I think. I'm not sure, but I think she's an atheist.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, so Halsey said, I said, does Halsey pray for Wildheart? And she answered, Beckel is being tribalistic and speaking for people he can't really speak for, unless he is only meaning the people in that hangout. And they didn't have an issue until Beckel said something. So I don't know what hangouts she's talking about. And then Bond says, Wildheart needs more than prayers. Elsie says, he has said it himself, ironic. He needs professional help, not prayer. Okay, that's Halsey said. And then Bond says, Halsey, I heard him say today, they told me I have to be drunk. Not sure who they are. Who was they? Do you remember what he's talking about? He's quoting you. They told me I have to be drunk. And
They told me because you can have alcoholic seizures if you stop drinking. So they told me I'm going to detox and rehab in the next week, but they said don't stop drinking till then because you can have like seizures and die. Yeah.
Now that you're going at it, they don't want you to stop now, because stopping at this point without them, they want to be able to monitor you while they bring you back.
Yeah.
And so it's actually safer for you to keep drinking.
Yeah.
Because you're such a fuck up, you got yourself to a place you have to drink to fucking live. What a fucking asshole. Man, you do anything to have an excuse to fucking drink, won't you?
But not to make it all about me. What can we talk about?
Yeah, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was listening to that. What would you like to talk about? You want to it's about God? Are you? How drunk are you?
How drunk am I?
Yeah, are you?
Not very drunk. I just woke up, so I've not been drinking at all.
Your brain's working all right.
It keeps coming in and out. Yeah. It keeps stopping and then coming back online. Yeah.
Hoping St. Tommy might come in.
Oh yeah, St. Tommy come in. Yeah.
I don't know if he's listening now. He was out there.
So what's going on with you? What's happening with your life? What's going on?
Well, I'm living in Tennessee in my camper. I don't know. You probably remember my camper, don't you? Back from when I used to live in it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was in Florida for a time with it. I don't know, then my life got turned upside down. I went up to Michigan again, but so that was in like 2018. I moved to Michigan, and then I spent 5 years there taking care of my mother. And then just some bullshit happened up there with my family members, and I said fuck y'all, and threw everything I had in the camper and had it someplace where I could afford it. So I'm living on the Tennessee River.
Oh, that sounds good. Tennessee River. Oh, that sounds.
It's in the middle of the woods or whatever,
Yeah. Oh, that sounds really nice.
Daniel Boone country.
Yeah.
Yeah, raccoon hat. Start talking
Oh,
like
oh, the raccoon hat. Oh, where is that from?
this.
The
This is
raccoon hat.
yeah, that's Daniel Boone,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
famous American frontiersman in the 1800s, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, this is hillbilly country for sure. You know, redneck have it. If you know
Yeah.
anything about American,
Plus, they've deleted my latest YouTube channel.
the latest one.
Yeah, I made a new one yesterday, but I kept doing karaoke.
Oh,
So I've got to make a new YouTube.
that's so much bullshit. It's I can't believe the bullshit to flag karaoke videos. I mean, the people
Yeah.
want you to fucking play them. What the?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody's just gonna just play it, you know, and not sing along or whatever. Like, what the?
Yeah. So tomorrow I've got to make a new YouTube channel.
You know,
What
you
day
should
is it
do-
today?
I think it's Monday.
Monday. Right. I've got appointments on Thursday and Friday at the doctors and the Salvation Army as well. Get in.
I thought I had the tune. Monday, Monday. Forget that day. That's a good song, though. You know what song I'm singing? Monday, Monday.
Yeah, Monday, Monday.
Papa's, I think.
Yeah. What was it? The Mamas and the Papas? Yeah.
Monday morning couldn't guarantee that Tuesday evening you would still be with me.
You are a very good singer and a very good guitarist as well, by the way. Yeah.
Wait, what?
You're a very good singer and a very good guitarist.
Thank you. I owe it all to God.
Yeah, we'll disagree about that.
Look who just got in. Look who just in. Are you allowed in Veckel's Hangout?
Am I allowed in Veckel? I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I want to see if he's got a link. 1 second. Because
Okay.
Halsey and Midnight just went in there.
Oh, is that live now? Veckles?
Yeah, that was a live hangout. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Give me a second. I'll see if the link comes up. Are you part of Veckel? Are you subbed to Veckel?
No, because I've lost all my... Because they deleted my channel.
Well,
No,
I mean, your subscriptions, though. I mean, you still... Oh, I mean, you still have... Oh, you don't have a... Okay, so you don't have a channel that can have subs. I got you.
Yeah. I'll search for him, though.
Hold on, I got you. Okay, are you on the inside chat here?
Yeah. Private chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this will be Beckel's StreamYard.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
I'm gonna end this.
Yeah. And
End my stream.
We'll meet
Okay.
over there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll see you there. Okay.
Thank
All right.
you.
Got it?
Thank
You got the link so I can close this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right, good.